Rome was not brought down by barbarians. Rome was killed by its economy. And if we are not careful, the same weapon is being used today. When people imagine the fall of Rome, they see dramatic scenes. Barbarians at the gates, cities collapsing, legions falling apart. But the truth was much quieter. It began in the imperial treasury. The destruction came from within, and its name was economic crisis. For centuries, Rome's power rested on one thing: the silver denarius. This was not just a coin. It meant trust and stability. It meant soldiers' wages. It meant trade. It meant savings. In short, it meant money and power. Rome was strong because its money was strong. But empire is expensive. Borders must be defended. Armies must be fed. Wars must be financed. And at some point, revenue is not enough. That is when governments face two choices. Either you tax the people more, or you quietly shrink the money. Rome chose the second. Under Augustus, the denarius was 95% silver. Over the centuries, that fell to 50%, then below 5%. What was once solid silver gradually became bronze coated in silver. The coin looked the same, but it was hollow inside. Sound familiar? So what happened next? The price of everything rose. Soldiers demanded higher pay. Merchants refused the currency. Gold and barter returned. Trust disappeared. And what did the state do? It printed more money. Because every collapsing system has the same reflex. Increase quantity instead of restoring real value. It is a vicious cycle, and history shows it ends the same way every time. (235 to 284 AD), the crisis of the 3rd century. 50 years of chaos. Emperors were eliminated within months. Plagues, civil wars, invasions. But no one addressed the real problem. The money was dead. It had lost its value. Taxes were worthless. Farmers were fleeing. Trade had collapsed. Diocletian tried to freeze prices by force, under threat of death. The result? Crisis. Because the law cannot restore value to worthless money. Eventually, the denarius was abandoned. Constantine introduced the gold solidus, but the Western Roman Empire was already hollowed out from within. Armies could no longer be financed. Trade networks were broken. Trust could not be restored. Rome did not disappear overnight. Slowly, along with its economy, an empire was collapsing. Now ask yourself, is this just ancient history? No. Weimar Germany. A loaf of bread cost 200 billion marks. Zimbabwe. Prices doubled every single day. And every time, the same pattern appears. Those with assets grow stronger. savers are crushed. Nixon severed the dollar from gold. That day, the world moved fully into fiat money. From that moment on, currency was backed not by gold, but by trust. And trust is fragile. A dollar in 1971 could buy what requires more than $6 today. The paper looks the same, but its value has steadily eroded, just like the denarius. Governments present inflation as growth. They present debt as investment. They present markets as wealth. But here's the reality. While the currency is hollowed out, the public barely notices, because the process is slow. Then one day, it accelerates, and the system breaks. Rome's crisis was imperial, Weimar's was national, Zimbabwe's was local. But today, the system is global. Debt is global, money printing is global. If a fracture comes, it will spread in waves. And here is the hardest truth. Inflation is not an accident. It is policy. It is a silent tax. And throughout history, it has destroyed empires from within. Rome teaches us this. Societies do not collapse because of barbarians at the gates. They collapse when the treasury is empty, when money loses trust, when contracts fail, when armies cannot be paid, when governments lose legitimacy. And history has proven one thing. The power that corrupts money ultimately corrupts the system itself. Rome learned this the hard way. The question is, will we? If this made you think, subscribe. History speaks. Those who listen gain.